I don't know how to make this sustainable. So it's a matter of like learning and exploring and trying to figure things out, because the more that I get clear on what's not working, what's holding me back, what's a challenge, how am I showing up, how is this a pattern in my life, the more I'll learn how can I be empowered in the midst of this frustrating situation. And remember, like, I've made it through tougher things before. So part of me is like, you know, it would be great if I could just like quit and like leave and like do something else. But more of me is focused on how can I take this opportunity that's not fun and create joy and find ways to learn and dig deep within myself to show up as an excellent person, because I want to be excellent and amazing and get things done. It's just a matter of practice and acknowledging that this is going to be a huge shift for me. It's been a long time since I've been confronted by things that like really make me dig deep within myself and question, like, how am I showing up? What am I believing? How am I being crazy in this situation? Because like, I'm aware that as humans, we're fundamentally a little bit delusional, and it's not intentional. It's just very easy to think like, this is what I think, so must be how I act. But sometimes what we do is very incongruous. So it's like, it may not be intentional, but sometimes we might be misaligned in our actions and our results and on different levels. And it's challenging because it's like, is it my thoughts that's holding me back? Is it my emotions and how I'm feeling? Is it my story and perception? Is it when I'm projecting onto the situation something from my past? Or is this actually like, in every interaction I have with you, you're showing this pattern of behavior, and I don't know how to interrupt your pattern of behavior or get through that this isn't working for me. So it's definitely something that some days it feels like it's a worthy challenge, where it's like, how can I show up for this job, this startup, this challenging environment and bring my best self and not feel like I'm just trapped and stuck and have no power. Like, I feel like this is the place where like the slave mentality comes up a lot for me, because I feel more like I'm enslaved to honoring their vision rather than my vision and what I need. So now it's like becomes this like power struggle where I've always felt like I've had to succumb and submit to the will of other people, whether I have faith in them or not, whether they're reasonable or not, whether like I actually like care about it. And so it's like, for me, I feel like I'm going through like a major shift in how can I show up at my best, even when I feel like what we're doing doesn't matter. I feel like we're wasting time, whatever my interpretation of the situation is. And so I'm not clear on what the answers are going to be. All I know is that like, if the question is it the job that I'm doing that's bothering me, or is it the way in which I'm doing the job that's bothering me? And it definitely feels like both. Like, there are things about the job that keep me feeling stuck and disempowered, and there are ways that I'm showing up that aren't making the situation any better. And part of me is like, I've read that sometimes when kids wet the bed, it's more like they have control of very little in their lives, and that's like the last place that they have authority. And so it feels like what's happening for me is that it's like, if you're taking away all the areas in which I kind of have a little bit of power, and then all of a sudden this is the only way that I can kind of assert myself, it feels like I'm just trying to exert my existence and fight for my identity versus actually focusing on like what matters, what's important. And it's not that it's a bad thing, it's just not effective is what I would say. Because like, I want to be effective at my job. I want to make a difference. I want to show up and feel like, yeah, this is another day, we're gonna get this done, instead of feeling like, geez, I just can't wait for this to end. And it's like, well, what would the end be? Would the end be the end of this project, the end of the task, the end of the company, the end of my time with the company? Like, I don't know, but I'm getting tired of feeling like, I just want this to end. I'm so tired of this. This is so exhausting. And so I don't know if anyone else is in such a position as well, where you're dealing with a challenge and a struggle. You don't know how to show up for it. It feels overwhelming and disempowering. Like, you know, you've been hobbled and forced to run a race. But let's just keep our heads up and stay in the game, because at the end of the day, it's not about the other person and the other people in the situation. So even though there may be these people who are showing up in my job and they're doing these things and I'm getting triggered, it's my responsibility to look at, what are they doing that's triggering me? What am I doing in response that is triggering them? How are we interacting in a way that's ineffective, and how can we change this so that everyone's needs are getting met? And what would make this worthwhile? Because that's the point that I can tell I'm really stuck on, is how can I make this working environment worth all this time, effort, and focus that I'm putting into it? I've been open to feedback. I've been doing my best to take the feedback and use it. I've been doing my best to try to learn some of the platform. And there's like all these different areas in which I'm stretched, and I'm doing the best I can to hold it together. And I can tell I'm starting to get kind of like strung out, where it's like I'm barely keeping it in. And so I don't know what would make this worthwhile. I do know that I'm considering that, okay, this is character development. This is an opportunity for me to prove that I'm a person of excellence and distinction. This is an opportunity for me to practice generating joy and bringing the joy, as Brendon Burchard says. Like, how can I bring joy and enthusiasm to these things and create the necessity that we get it done, and transform this job into something that is a passion and a mission and a focus, instead of just like, I really just want to keep getting my paychecks. Like, that's where I'm at. And I think that's definitely where a lot of the challenge is, because it actually got off to a rough start. It was like 2 bad first weeks, 1 good week. And in that 1 good week, I'm having fun, and someone was like, oh, this isn't fun. This sucks. And then it sucked more. And it's just like, it's just been a spiral out of control. And that's not to say that it's not going to be worthwhile and amazing in the end. That's just to say that there's challenges that come up, and I've had the opportunity to, am I going to choose how I show up in this moment, or am I going to keep letting what other people say and other people think hold me back? And I'm at a crossroads. I'm not sure which path I'm going to take. I do feel committed to seeing this through for at least 1 year. And so whatever it takes for me to enjoy myself over that year, to fully commit, to practice releasing the bad attitude that I have, and not being super sassy, but letting some of my sass show, because I am kind of a sassy person with personality. Like, my mom would call it talking back, and sometimes it's just expressing myself. Like, I'm not out to be pugnacious and like argue with everyone, but I am out to get things done, to have a mission, to make a difference in the world. And it feels like what I'm doing, it's loosely aligned to what I want. Because with data, the best thing about having a data-driven organization is that when you're data-driven, it starts with data. It starts with points. It's, someone buys something. There are actions that are being recorded. That is your data. And from those actions, you can piece together things. So you can get more information on these actions that people are taking. And you can create a story. And you can be empowered to do things that work better. So if I'm looking at my YouTube videos and I see, okay, this is a point where a lot of people stop paying attention, and I look at that point and I can figure out, okay, this is a topic that people like or don't like, or this is something where I could change my delivery, or now I have this opportunity to expand what I'm doing because I can look at the data and it can shape and inform what I do next. And that's the challenge in life, is that we don't always have accurate data. Sometimes we create data that is very detached from the situation because of our emotions, what we're thinking, and just how we see ourselves sometimes. And it's not that we don't want to be the effective storyteller, because sometimes if we're the narrator of our lives, we're going to get it wrong. It's almost inevitable. Most times we're not going to say the right thing. We're not going to do the thing that's meant to be done. And it's just because we're human. And there are things about ourselves that we can't always see. So sometimes that feedback is so important and necessary in our development, because then now, maybe I'll have a conversation with someone and it's like, wow, you sound like a victim in the situation. And of course, I might get defensive and upset, but then if I sit with it and it's like, okay, if I'm coming across as a victim, what am I doing that I'm giving away power and I'm not stepping into my power? And now you can use those moments that are uncomfortable or that you resist and use it to grow and learn from. Because the more that we take it in and we allow ourselves to play with it and sit with it and what can I do with this? What if I am operating as a victim? Then what kind of opportunity would it take for me to show up as a victorious person, as the strong person, as someone who can turn it around? because we always have the power within us. It's just not always a practice to tap into it. And so I want to be a victorious person. I want to be the author of my life, the captain of my soul. I want to be someone who shows up and gets things done regardless of the situation and circumstance. And in order to be that person, I have to take this opportunity and create an opportunity. Even though the opportunity here is currently, I'm not happy, how do I show up as happy and enthusiastic and present and engaged? And then it's just going to be a matter of me noticing, when am I not? What's triggering me? How can I show up differently? And just really intentionally practicing it. So whether Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, there's meditation practices for it. Whether it's just through awareness and just kind of creating triggers and noticing, there's that. There's setting alarms and reminding yourself of who you would like to be and how you would like to show up. And then there's also just brainstorming. Like, what kind of actions does this person take? How would other people see them and receive them? How can I make sure I'm operating from my highest self instead of my lowest self, and just really making it a habit and a practice? So these are ideas that I'm going to be using and taking in and operating from as I move forward, because I know the biggest question that I had for myself as I was journaling is, who would I be without my anger, my frustration, my attachment to history of myself and history of African Americans in this country? Like, how would I operate if I stopped expecting privilege and entitlement to operate and like inform people's levels of awareness, and just like allowed myself to speak up for it or my perspective? Or if I was willing to just kind of talk back and be sassy, like, how would that look and how would it feel? Because I know a lot of what I've done growing up has been, I want to treat other people as though they're sensitive and caring and whole, and like protect them almost from me, because I know I can be intense. And at the same time, now it's like, okay, I've done a lot of protecting other people. How do I protect myself? Because I've put myself into a variety of situations that I probably never needed to be in. And now it's like, okay, I have to protect me first, because I need to be okay and well. And I don't fully know how to do that. So this is a journey that I'm taking on as I recover. Who am I? What am I about? What am I going to do next? And how can I, in every moment, be excellent, instead of just having like a general trend of excellent moments, but like just consistently feel like an excellent person, a woman of distinction, and a woman of integrity. Because I know that I'm someone who likes to do their best, and with practice, I can do that consistently. So let's get out, own our lives, and make free choices, and just be the people that we want to be, so we can live fully and amazingly, and have a wonderful day.